Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon. This is uh, Connecting the World program, and this interview series is sponsored by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace. And today our guest is Justice Markandey from India, and we are very thankful to him because he's a very senior justice with us, and we will talk about humans' rights and humans' law. So please, sir, over to you.
May I begin? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Please introduce yourself.
I am Justice Markandey Katju, former Judge of Supreme Court of India. Now, today I will talk of human rights. You see, poverty is destructive of all human rights. The person who is poor or unemployed, for him to talk about freedom of speech or freedom of or equality, liberty, etc., is meaningless. He wants food and a job. Now, you please give me a little time to explain some very basic concepts. It will take me a little time, so please bear with me. You see, before the Industrial Revolution, which began in England in the early 18th century and then spread all over the world, there were feudal agricultural societies everywhere. Now, the feudal method of production was so primitive and backward that very, very little wealth could be generated by it. In our subcontinent, agriculture was done with the bullock, in Europe by the horse, in Vietnam by buffaloes, etc. And when very little wealth is generated, then obviously only a few people can be rich, like the kings and aristocrats, the zamindars, etc. The rest, 90-95% people had to be poor, because when the cake is so small, very few people can eat it. Now, this position drastically changed by the Industrial Revolution, which, as I said, began in England in the early 18th century and spread all over the world. Now, the modern methods of production are so powerful and so big that enough wealth can be generated to give a decent life to everybody on earth. Now, nobody in the world need be poor. Yet, despite this unique historical situation which has arisen after the Industrial Revolution, the reality is that 70-75% of the world people are poor. You know, this world is really divided into two worlds. This is not one world. One is the world of the developed countries, which means North America, Europe, Japan, Australia, and even China has joined their ranks. And the second world is the world of the underdeveloped countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and so on. Now, our object in the underdeveloped countries must be to transform our countries and uplift them from the ranks of the underdeveloped countries to the ranks of the developed countries. Otherwise, we remain condemned to poverty, hunger, unemployment, lack of health care, and good education for the masses, and so on. So, this position should be clear to everybody. But the truth is that there's a secret, unwritten rule among the developed countries that the underdeveloped countries must not be allowed to become developed countries. There's a secret, unwritten rule. They will never say it. The people in developed countries will never say it, but it's an understanding that in the Indian subcontinent must not be allowed to transform itself into another China or another developed country. Why? Now, this is something which I have to explain in some detail. I have to go in some depth. See, because politics is concentrated economics, and therefore I have to delve a bit into economics. See, cost of labor is a big chunk of the total cost of production. And if the cost of labor is less, then the cost of production is less. And if the cost of production is less, you can sell your goods at a cheaper price and undersell your business rival. There's competition in the market. One businessman eliminates another businessman not with guns or bombs or tanks, but by underselling him, which means selling the same high quality goods but at a cheaper price. Now, to give an example, in China, there was a revolution in 1949. Before that, China was a very poor feudal country. But after 1949, the leaders who came to power rapidly industrialized China and built up a massive industrial base in China. Now, that massive industrial base, combined with the cheap labor available in China, enables the Chinese to undersell the whole world in consumer goods and also in other goods. If you go to Western countries, you will find the supermarkets are packed with Chinese goods because the Chinese will sell goods at, say, half the price at which the American manufacturer can sell because the American labor is expensive. So once a country builds up a massive industrial base, then everything turns on the cost of labor. Countries which have cheaper labor have a distinct advantage over countries which have expensive labor. So if this Indian subcontinent is transformed into another China, another industrial giant, of which it has all the potential because it has a huge pool of engineers and technicians and scientists, and it has immense natural resources, then we will be able to undersell even the Chinese. Our labor is even cheaper than Chinese labor and certainly much cheaper than the labor in Western countries. So if we build up a massive industrial base, what will happen? What will happen is that the industries in the developed countries will collapse because they will not be able to face our competition. And millions of people will be thrown out of employment in the developed countries. Now, will they allow that? Will they allow this catastrophe to take place? No, they will fight it tooth and nail to prevent the Indian subcontinent from being transformed into a huge highly industrialized country. And how do they prevent this? They will prevent it by making people in the Indian subcontinent fight with each other on the basis of religion, caste, language, region, and so on. So this is what is happening in our subcontinent. In India, for example, the present government, BJP government, which has come to power, that incites religious hatred, particularly against Muslims and Christians. It polarizes society so that we keep fighting each other and we do not unite and make India a highly industrialized country. And they also, that will also ensure sales of arms by the foreign arms manufacturers, that is in billions of dollars. So once you understand this basic concept, you will understand what is going on in the Indian subcontinent and even in the world. That our objective is we must transform our region into a highly industrialized country like China. But the aim of the developed countries is that India must not be allowed to be transformed into a highly industrialized country, because then they will not be able to face the competition. So now all this I said, coming back to human rights, as I said, human rights means giving people a decent life, which means a good job, good income, good food, and health care, good education, etc. All this is possible only if we transform our Indian subcontinent into a highly industrialized region like another China. Otherwise, there will be no human rights. As I said, poverty is destructive of all human rights. There's no use talking of human rights when people are hungry, when people are unemployed. So that is why we have to launch a powerful historical united struggle in which all people unite for making this historical transformation. See, pardon me for saying so, I think you are from Pakistan, isn't it? And I often say, and please don't mind my saying so, that Pakistan is a fake artificial country. This partition was done by the British so that we keep fighting each other, even after 1947. Hindus and Muslims keep fighting each other so that we do not get transformed into a highly industrialized country. Actually, India and Pakistan are one country. We share the same culture. We were one since Mughal times. See, what is Pakistan? It is Punjab, it is Baluchistan, it is Sindh. All this was part of India from Mughal times. This partition was a historical British swindle to ensure that even after the British leave, our subcontinent remains weak. We keep fighting each other. And whenever there's any talk of peace moves, for example, recently your General Bajwa said that we should forget the past and move forward. But whenever there are any peace moves, soon thereafter it is followed by hostility. Like, for example, when Prime Minister Vajpayee did his bus yatra to Lahore, within a few months thereafter there was the Kargil war. So there can never be peace and good relations between India and Pakistan, because Pakistan was made to ensure that there is hostility between Hindus and Muslims, between Indians and Pakistanis. The very purpose of creating Pakistan was that this Indian subcontinent is not transformed into another China, another industrial giant. But our objective is that we must. So I've often said that actually India and Pakistan, we are one country and we are bound to reunite. It will take 15, 20 years, no doubt, because there are powerful forces which want to keep us divided, which want to keep us fighting each other so that we remain weak and they can dominate over us, and we waste all our resources and energies in fighting each other instead of uniting and fighting against poverty and unemployment and hunger and lack of health care, lack of good education, etc. So this is my opinion. Now, any of you who wish to ask questions, please feel free to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. My next question is about, again, for the human rights. Sir, as we know that, especially in subcontinent, we never aware about our rights and rules. We never about how laws protect us, how we can get some support if we are going to be go for the law things. Now I'm going to be select the one thing about the consumer law. Nobody's know about the consumer law in subcontinent. So I just ask about that, how the consumer law is support the consumer about the product securities, about the payback things.
Listen, let me tell you one thing. Our Indian subcontinent is a disorganized region. We are disorganized countries. Unlike North America, USA, Canada, Europe, which are organized countries. And in our countries, you can make laws, consumer laws, pollution laws, and so on. But when it comes to implementing those laws, they will not be implemented because the people who are to implement them are the bureaucracy. And the bureaucracy is largely hollow, corrupt, inefficient, weak. So they will not be implemented. You make any laws, consumer protection law, pollution. For example, in India, there's a pollution, air pollution, water pollution laws. But in reality, what happens is that the factory owner, he bribes the pollution inspector, say he fixes that I will give you 4,000, 5,000 rupees a month, and you turn a blind eye to my discharge of my factory's effluents into the river, because setting up an effluent treatment plant is very expensive. These effluent treatment plants are very expensive. So it's much cheaper that you bribe the pollution inspector and he will turn a blind eye and you keep discharging all your waste and effluents into the river and keep polluting it. So what I mean to say is there are laws both in the Western countries and laws in our subcontinent. But the difference is that in Western countries, the laws are implemented because they have a strong state machinery. Our state machinery is corrupt, it is inefficient, it is weak, it is hollow. So you keep making any schemes, consumer protection, pollution protection, any kind of thing, law you make. But when it comes to implementing them, it is not implemented, and in fact, it becomes another source of corruption for the police or for the authorities in the name of consumer protection or pollution protection. The inspector will go and demand money, that you give me so much money, otherwise I will file a FIR against you, and all these kind of things are done. So these laws exist only on paper. So let's not talk of this consumer protection or pollution. It means nothing. We have to go on a much deeper level, that how we can transform our subcontinent into a modern industrial giant like another China. And we have all the potential. You know, in large number of engineers and technicians from India and Pakistan are in USA. Silicon Valley is largely manned by Indians and also Pakistanis. I visited many American universities and I found many Indian and Pakistani professors of science, engineering, mathematics, etc. there. So we have a huge pool of technical talent and we have immense natural resources. So we can easily transform our subcontinent into a highly industrialized country. But if we do, then what will happen to the industries in the developed countries? Will they be able to survive the competition? Because we have cheap labor. Please, I'm coming back to it again, that countries which have cheap labor have a distinct advantage over countries with expensive labor. Western labor is very expensive. Our labor is very cheap. So if we set up a modern industrial base, as China set up, then we can sell at half or even 1/3 the price the same goods which the Western manufacturers make, and they will not be able to face our competition and their industry will collapse, throwing millions out of employment. Will they permit that? No, they will fight that tooth and nail. So they will do it by making us fight each other in the name of religion and caste and so on. So that is the purpose of partition of India. That is the purpose. In fact, even now, for example, we have the BJP government. They are small fries. They are just puppets of the developed countries. And the whole aim of BJP is to spread religious hatred, particularly against minorities, and polarize society, so that we do not unite and launch a powerful historical struggle for transformation of India into a modern industrial giant. Yes. Yes, any question?
Sir, how we can Yes. Sir, how we can teach our community from ourselves without blaming to other people, without blaming to political matters, how we can guide our community, how we can teach our community about laws, about how the laws are protect us, how the laws are gives more benefits for us. What we can do for this to spread this positive awareness about law.
Please try to understand that laws are just pieces of paper. It is the implementation of the law which is very important. And laws are made. In India, we have, for example, building regulations. There are building regulations in America also. But in America, the laws are enforced. You cannot erect a building which deviates from the plan approved by the municipality. Here, you pay the municipal authority some bribe and you deviate from the plan. So don't keep talking of laws. Laws mean nothing because they will not be implemented. Let's go a little deeper into instead just going on the surface, talking of superficial things like laws. Laws mean nothing. The point is that how do you transform our subcontinent from an underdeveloped country to a highly developed country? Unless you do that, you will not have human rights. Laws will not create human rights. Can laws abolish unemployment? Can laws abolish hunger? Can laws provide for proper health care and good education? You keep making laws, it means nothing.
Sir, what things the progressive or the developed countries doing, and what things we are not doing since 70 to 80 years? Why America has become a superpower? Why China is growing so much? Why the Canadians citizens are very satisfied with their president and their laws or everything, and why we are not doing in our countries, because we are not satisfied, we are fight for the food. What they are handling these matters and how they are handling these matters, why we are missing, what we are missing, sir.
No, I don't follow your question. What exactly is your question?
Sir, my question is, American Canadians are much satisfied with their life, with their business, with their facilities that government is providing them. But why we are not satisfied with our life as a subcontinent citizen? We are not satisfied. We are not think we are secure here. So why do some things are doing this and we are not?
All right, I will answer you. I will have to go back again to what I had said earlier. You see, the first time a unique situation has developed in world history, that after the Industrial Revolution, modern industry is so powerful and so big that now it can create enough wealth to give a decent life to everybody. Now, nobody need be poor or unemployed or hungry. Yet, despite this historical situation which has been created by the Industrial Revolution, the truth is that 70% or more of the people are poor, hungry, unemployed. So therefore, we don't have to be like this, because now we have got modern industry. Enough wealth can be generated to give decent lives to everybody, like the lives which Americans enjoy. We people in Indian subcontinent can also transform our region and give our people's lives which Americans or Europeans enjoy. Because as I said, we've also got huge pool of engineers and technicians and so on. So therefore, but the point is our leadership, both in India and Pakistan, they are really puppets of the developed countries. And the developed countries want that we should keep fighting each other, Hindus and Muslims should keep fighting each other, because they don't want Indian subcontinent to be transformed into a modern industrial giant, because then it will become a big rival to Western industry with our cheap labor. Please, I'm repeating it again and again because it seems you haven't understood what I said properly. Other things are all incidental and subsidiary. The principal thing is that we have to transform our subcontinent into a modern industrial giant like another China. Because unless we do that, we remain condemned to massive poverty, massive unemployment. Now in Pakistan, where you live, I think you live in Lahore, isn't it? Where are you? Where are you living in?
Sir, I'm near to Lahore, but I'm from Sahiwal. It's a central Punjab city. It's
All
near
right.
to Lahore.
Okay. Now, what I saw on internet is that there is huge price rise in Pakistan, skyrocketing prices. Is that not correct? And people are not able to afford so many foodstuffs and fuel, electricity, because it has become so expensive. So we have to change this situation, and we can change it by transforming our region into a highly industrialized region. We have such massive unemployment. In India, we have record unemployment, and it is rising. I suppose the same is in Pakistan also. We have the same problems of poverty, unemployment, hunger, etc. India and Pakistan face the same problems. Those are our real enemies. But instead of jointly fighting against those enemies, we are made to fight each other by propaganda and by deceiving us. You say this idea that Hindus and Muslims are enemies, two nation theory, that Hindu and Muslims are two separate nations, which your great leader Jinnah propounded, is a big fraud. This idea that Hindus and Muslims are enemies of each other is fraud. In fact, many of my friends, Hindu friends who went to Pakistan, they came back and told me that they got such love and affection and hospitality in Pakistan that you cannot believe it. And similarly, when Pakistanis come to India, they get a lot of love and affection and hospitality. So it is false to say that we are enemies of each other. The people they love each other, but the governments hate each other. This is the problem, and power is in the hands of the governments. They want to continue hostility. So this is the objective situation, and we have to transform it. But that will require a historical struggle, almost a kind of a revolution. It won't be easy, because those who divided us will not easily allow us to reunite. But we are bound to reunite, just like West and East Germany reunited after partition for 45 years, because they were one nation. So we are really one nation. We were one since Mughal times. When I meet Pakistanis and I talk to them, I feel no different from talking to Indians. So, and in foreign countries, when Pakistanis and Indians meet, they socialize as if there was no partition. So this partition was bogus and a fraud. And Pakistan, and pardon me for saying so, I believe in speaking the truth, even if it hurts you. I will say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, whether it hurts you or pleases you. I'm not bothered. And the truth is that Pakistan is a fake, artificial country. It is no country, it is part of India and is bound to reunite, but under a secular government. I am against the RSS concept of Akhand Bharat, which preaches Hindu-dominated India. I don't want domination of anybody, and we have formed an organization called Indian Reunification Association. You can Google it and see it, of which I am the patron. And we advocate peaceful and voluntary reunification, not by military means. So at present, we are just spreading the idea, and we are convinced the idea is truthful. yeah.
Sir,
So I
but
think how
IT, sir,
yes,
IT department works a lot for this thing because there is a lots of borders from all over the world. But the one amazing thing from IT did for us is this social media. So we are not divided. We all are live in social media. There is no boundary. I'm never asking any permission from my government to talk with you. So this is a very great initiative for us. So they are doing another work, but we are going for here, and we are working for here. We are free from here. We can talk about us. We respect all Hindus. We respect all Muslims who live in India. I respect to all. I have thousands and hundreds of people who are following me and who are chat with me on daily basis from India. I respect them all. They are very kind-hearted. They are very nice to talk with me. They never did any misbehave with me. They never did any abusive language with me on social media. I respect them all. But I'm very glad and very thankful to God. God gives us the social media to connect with you, to connect with all people. We connect with Kashmiris, we connect with Palestinians, we connect with Israeli, we connect with Americans, we connect with Canadians on this platform. So my next question is about this IT. So what do you think that? What do you think about this IT transformation, IT revolution in 2020?
will IT revolution give people food and jobs? See, talking of this IT revolution, digital revolution, and so on, has it abolished poverty in our subcontinent? Has it abolished hunger? You know, in India, every second child is malnourished, and this percentage is going up. And I think in Pakistan also. So despite IT, more and more children are getting hungry. Unemployment is increasing. So you see, again, this talk of IT and all is all superficial. You know, you have to go deeper into the whole thing. You have to give people decent lives. Will people eat that IT? They have to eat food, not eat IT. You must get your concepts clear. You know, the whole problem is you people forget basic thing that
Sir, but
human beings.
IT generate a millions and billions of jobs. Sir, IT generate a millions of billion jobs for us,
Jobs are
not
going
for
down
us,
in
all
India.
over the world.
On the contrary, in India, hundreds of thousands of IT engineers have lost their jobs. They have been laid off. So far from increasing jobs, in the recent trend is jobs are getting less, and in IT sector, lakhs of people who were employed there have lost their jobs. I suppose the same would be the position in Pakistan. So, I mean, get your figures, your statistics correctly. Jobs are getting less in the IT
Sir,
sector. Please
sir,
check
if
up. Please
I'm
check
not
up. No,
wrong,
have you checked up about
sir, if I'm not wrong,
about the trend of employment in the IT sector in recent times in Pakistan? I know about India that IT jobs, lakhs have been lost over the last 1 or 2 years. So what are you talking? I mean, you're talking in the air,
sir,
creating jobs.
sir, if I'm not, sorry to say, but sir, if I'm not wrong, according to my research, according to my homework, Bangalore is the Bangalore is situated in India, and Bangalore is known as IT city, IT area, right? If I'm not wrong. So in Bangalore, there is a hundreds of thousands of software houses. They are working with different countries online, and they have a huge marketing assistant. They are working for affiliated marketing things. Hundreds of girls and boys are related this Amazon are marketing, eBay marketing, and other all software. They just get money from this. So I accept your opinion and I respect your opinion. But sir, IT, if someone is losing their jobs, And this is another strategy because they are not upgrading their level. They are not learn the IT skills. They are not adopt the social media skills or the new development on the time. That's why they skip from the job. And the new generation is very good in this. They have a good command on IT. They have a good command on their all gadgets, and they love to doing some developing work on the WordPress, something IT skills. That's why they just engage on the jobs and IT field at home. The basic thing is that we are working on we also are working on remote jobs. Remote jobs mean we are working at home and we get some salary from other countries, from other cities, from online learn earning. So, sir, I just asked that if we are accept new revolution, new IT skills before the time that's American did, Canadian did, why we are not accept including Pakistan, why we are not accept new technologies on time?
Now, you must hear my answer. See, people in the IT sector in India and perhaps also in Pakistan have been losing jobs, including in Bangalore, in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, because you see, many of these engineers were employed by American companies. They remained located in India, in Bangalore and other cities, but you can work for American companies from India, offshore work. But when Trump became president, he wanted that these jobs should be given to American boys and girls instead of Indian boys and girls. So he told the American IT companies that you should employ American boys and girls rather than Indian boys and girls. And therefore, many of these companies had to lay off these IT engineers. It is nothing to do with upgrading. It is because in America also there was a recession, so they wanted that their boys and girls, American boys and girls, should get jobs which were going to Indians and perhaps Pakistanis. So that is why that is the main reason for the layoffs, that the American companies which were collaborating with Indian companies and maybe Pakistani companies, they changed their policy and decided to give such jobs to local boys in America, boys and girls. This is the reason. Please get your facts clear. I mean, I don't think you have your facts clear. The reason for the loss of jobs in the IT sector, including in Bangalore, is for the reason I just now told you, that there's a recession in America also, and President Trump wanted jobs to be given to American boys and girls rather than Indians and Pakistanis. And therefore, he sort of pushed the American IT companies that you should give jobs to Americans, not to Indians or Pakistanis. So that is why I know about India, and you should be knowing about Pakistan. Lakhs of boys and girls have lost their jobs. See, the position in India, particularly at present, the pandemic is going on, which has hit India. The second wave has hit India very badly. I come from the legal background. I was a lawyer and then a judge, so I have contact with many lawyers. In India, the situation is, and I've spoken to many lawyers, particularly young lawyers, they say that, sir, for more than 1 year, we have no work and no income. Because now the courts are online courts, which are hardly any courts. So they don't have clients, they don't have any income, and some have to become vegetable sellers. Some lawyers in India have become vegetable sellers. They have given up law profession because there's no work, there's no income. So our economy is sinking in India. I suppose the same in Pakistan. instead of improving, and we have got all the engineers and technicians and scientists to uplift our economy, but rather it is going down. And I have explained all the reasons. Yes, what else?
Thank you, sir. My last question is about change. What three things you want to change in your life for Indians?
I told you that the change must be to give people of India and Pakistan decent lives. And we can do it because after the Industrial Revolution, the unique situation in world history has been created that everybody can be given a decent life, because modern industry is so powerful and big that it can generate enough wealth to give a decent life to everybody. Now, nobody will need be poor or hungry or unemployed. But despite this situation, maybe 3/4 or 2/3 of the world is still hungry and poor and unemployed. So that has to be changed. See, I have to keep repeating what I said again and again because it seems it's not penetrating your head. We have to give our people decent lives.
How people,
Sorry?
how
Yes.
people, uh, how people can join you for this, fulfill your mission to to better your,
I
to
think
help
there
you
has
to
to be
fulfill this mission.
I think there has to be some kind of a French Revolution or so, because I can tell you about India. We have a constitution under which there is parliamentary system of democracy. And in India, parliamentary system of democracy really means reliance on caste and religious vote banks. Our whole politics in India runs on caste and religious vote banks. Some parties like BJP rely on religion, other parties rely on caste. Now, casteism and communalism are basically feudal forces which have to be destroyed, but parliamentary democracy further entrenches them. Therefore, we have to replace it by an alternative system under which the country rapidly industrializes. And that is not possible within the constitutional framework. So, the solutions to our country's problems lie not within the system but outside the system, which means some kind of a revolution. But that revolution will take a long time to come. It has to be preceded by a historical people's struggle, which may take 10, 15, 20 years. And there have to be many sacrifices, lot of it will have many twists and turns. It won't be an easy process because there are powerful forces, as I told you, which are opposed to transformation of India. The developed countries don't want Indian subcontinent to become a modern industrial giant, because then their industries will collapse. They will not be able to face the competition because we will sell at a cheaper price with our cheaper labor, and that they will never permit. So they don't want transformation of India into a modern industrial giant, of which it has all the potential. So we, on our part, we must transform our subcontinent into a modern industrial giant, because otherwise we remain condemned to poverty and hunger and unemployment and all kinds of social evils. So the interest of the Indian people of the Indian subcontinent and the interest of the Western developed countries are directly contrary to each other. They don't want us to industrialize. We want rapid industrialization. So there's a direct conflict. Yes, what else?
Sir, my last question is for me. I just request you to give me advice how and what can I do for the social media to build a positive bridge for India for from Pakistan.
What everybody can do if you are patriotic people is to spread the ideas which I have just now told you. Just spread the idea. You don't need to do anything further. I'm not asking you to pick up a gun and fight on the streets or something. I'm just asking you to spread the idea that we must transform our region into a modern industrial giant like another China. Otherwise, we remain condemned to poverty, and all the other social evils. So just spread the idea. You don't need to go any further. And the ideas I've all explained in this interview.
So nice of you, sir. Thank you for this very beautiful message for us. Thank you for giving time for connecting the world. And in this connecting the world, we are connecting with you, and we learn lots of things about revolution. We learn lots of things from the industrial transformation, and we learn about the law. I'm very thankful to you because you are sharing your precious time with us. You are sharing a very positive, informative, and motivated session with us. I'm very thankful to you. Take care. Namaste.
When can you send me a link? When can you send me a link of this interview? When can you send me a link of this?
After this.
Will you send it right away? Will you send it right away?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you please send it by email so that I can post it on my Facebook page.
Sure. Sure.
Please send it right away. Thank you.
Sure, I will. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. Namaste. Sat Sri Akal.
Okay, bye. Are you a Punjabi? Are you a Punjabi?
Yes, I'm real Punjabi.
Punjabi Kudi.
Yeah, I am Punjabi kudi literally. You know, I देखो, बहुत शुद्ध कीती हुई है मैं.
Okay. Okay then. Bye. I'm waiting for your email with the link. I'm waiting for the link. I can't hear you now.
Thank you. Thank you. But our ending is very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching this very informative session with us. And my guest is Markandey from India. He's a justice, and he's working for the Reuniform for India. So take care. God bless you. This interview series is sponsored by Rehan Foundation and Institute of Peace.